Talk shoes. Recorded live.
Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you may be, across the nation, around the world. Once again, you're listening to the VMware Communities Roundtable podcast. This is podcast number 677. My name is Eric Nilsson, and with me today, I have my favorite co-host, Corey Romero. Today is January 24th, Wednesday, noon to 1 every week. You want to join us? You can come join us if you want. Corey Romero, how's it going?
Things going well. We are moving forward with the vExpert applications, and Utah weather has turned from snow to rain, which is good. So
that's good. You don't have to shovel a lot of snow out of your driveway if it's raining.
Right.
So just watch for the ice at the middle of the night when it all freezes and turns to an ice rain.
Exactly.
Awesome. Well, we've had good weather here. It's been sunny. We've had a lot of rain, so we've had a lot of good mixture of rain and sun. So it rained this morning. It's sunny right now. And things are going to go along. It's wintertime, so we're in the middle of January, and all the things that are happening at VMware, in the wintertime, as you know, are kicking off, right? So I guess I'll throw it to you, Corey. You can give us a little vExpert update. I know you're right in the middle of apps and getting ready to do all the processing. So if you want to give us an update on that, we'll gladly listen.
Yeah, so we're right in the middle of doing the applications. Voting results will be out February 16th. Everything will go out by email. We are going to have 11 sub-programs this year for vExpert 2024. So working with the various business units on that and moving things forward. Excited to get into the program this year. It's going to be different and interesting and a lot of fun.
Yeah, I know that a lot of people that I've been working with on Broadcom and some of the other divisions, they're all interested in, and they're quite amazed when we take them through all the stuff we do for community. Broadcom said, we don't want to mess up the community. We love the community. It's crazy how good it is. But now we're kind of bringing people into it and talking to them about it and talking about the tools we use and how we use it. And everybody is like blown away. Everybody just blown away when they like, holy smokes, you guys have now we start to understand. They always understood. They were like, we don't know how you do it, but you guys have the biggest, strongest community ever. And now when we take them through blogs and we take them through vExperts and we take them through dynamic signal and advocacy and all the content that gets published
so much.
Yeah, it's like they're like, oh, okay, we get all this. And and so we spend a lot of time training the people, right? And I assume the extra sub programs are because people are coming out going, yeah, we want to do this stuff.
Yeah. Well, that and also myself. I've got 3 of them that I'm spun up myself, which I don't have leads for yet, but I'm going to award the folks, and I'm finding leads, and so we're gonna push those into programs, right? I mean, they are programs, right? But we just don't have an official program lead from the business unit. I think it's just 2 of them, but yeah, it's going to be a great year this year.
Yeah, I think so. I was talking to Noel about, there's certainly a lot of bumpy air every week, right? As as escalations come, but there has not been a single one that then when we deal with, they don't get resolved positively, right? It's like, oh yeah, okay. Who do we have to do? We have to do something with VMUG. We have to do something with, with Slack. We have to do something with VMTN and the community. There's a lot of these things that are moving, but I would say that they're going well, and I'm excited about it. And we started working now with the event team to look at Explore this year, and all the things we're going to do with Explore looks great. They're excited about everything. The entire event team is intact and still running Explore. Yeah. So, good times all the way across the board. And that gives us to the lead into what we want to talk about today on the show, VMware Code. We've been pretty quiet on VMware Code since Explore in Europe, right, where we had a bunch of power sessions going on in Europe. And then Brian Graff, who was running VMware Code, got let go, and we had to consolidate some people in the headcount. But we had Franky, who we absolutely adore and love here, and we've had him on the podcast before, so we'll get to that in a second. But VMware Code, we're kicking back off. It's one of the programs that we're excited about. The event team is excited about it. We're excited about it. Automation of the data center, automation enterprise. It's a big thing. Broadcom understands the reason why you want to go deeper in the enterprise, right? And enable our customers to do more. And so that's why VMware Code is important. And there's a couple things we're doing with VMware Code, which is good. We're bringing over, I'll get Franky get into that, but we are bringing over sample exchange to be on the code website. So we get to work on that. We're going to have some fun with examples and promoting all the samples. And so we'll get into that. So without further ado, what we're going to talk about today is VMware Code and where we're going with it. And I guess I should say VMware by Broadcom Code. And I notice, Franky, your backdrop and my backdrop doesn't say by Broadcom underneath the little VMware. So you got some editing to do, get your Photoshop up. But Franky, I know you've been on the podcast before, but we always start out with, tell me, how you got here. Who are you? What do you do? What's your history of your career? And then what are you working on now? And then we'll get into VMware Code, obviously. So you got 5-minute elevator pitch here.
Well, thank you very much. Awesome to be here again. Yeah, I started off my career as a customer, as a BI admin, and grew up into an engineering role. I managed an environment that had about 100 ESXi hosts, about 1,000 VMs, right, across a couple different states, and also VMware Cloud and AWS. And yes, I definitely leverage Power CLI to make my life easier. It's a little bit of it's an issue when you have to do the mundane tasks for every single little thing, and definitely automation was it. So I moved over to become an architect for an MSP, and now we're here. Yeah. Luckily I'm here.
So coming into VMware, right now, you get to see how the sausage is made. Any big surprises when you came over here to see what we're doing inside of marketing and community marketing and inside of VMware? What's your impressions and any big surprises?
You know what? So I've heard, right? I've heard, and people have, said stuff like this. Don't ever meet your heroes. Kind of sort of like this. I'm not saying that anywhere, anybody at VMware is my hero, but right, I was afraid of, oh man, is it really like this on the other side? Are people like this? I've met people in the community through VMUG as a VMUG leader, and everybody's nice, right? The V community is just phenomenal. And I was like, oh man, I'm gonna reach out to people, and I'm not gonna get the same thing anymore. And no, I was pleasantly surprised, right? I had a conversation with Ryan Johnson the other day, and we were talking about code and how we can work together for this program. And it's just, it's been so nice. I reached out to William Lamb, right? Everybody knows him. He's a big whale out there. How we spoke the other day, and he was right. He was all in, right? Within minutes, he replied to an email. I was like, hey, anything I can do for the community, just let me know. So no, that was a pleasant surprise. I love it.
Nice. Yeah. So what you're saying is everybody's as nice inside as they are outside, and no one treats you any differently.
No, exactly. And that's the beautiful thing, right? You as a customer, you're like, you know what? These people are being nice because they want my money, right? But no, you get here and it's like, oh man, this is it. Yeah. Once you start having these conversations with people and you start seeing the passion these people have, like, oh my gosh, this is why I joined. I love it.
Yeah, I got to say that it is true that even as we are now working with Broadcom, right, there's an opportunity to spread that, right? Like, and I see that it is contagious, right? Like it is a contagious atmosphere that starts to spread around, and people start to go, I guess we could be that way, right? Like these guys are really excited and passionate, and they don't seem to be slowed down by anything, right? Like they just keep doing their thing, right? And I've seen that there is a story, and I don't know if I'm allowed to tell this story, but Hawk Tan, I'm going to probably get myself in trouble, right? But Hawk Tan, it's a good story. But Hawk Tan came into a meeting and he was dressed really nice. Hawk Tan always dresses nice, right? He's always a sharp dresser. But he comes in, he's a super good guy too. Spends time with everybody, especially in the community. He answers direct, but I really like the guy. And he came in and he was dressed particularly good. And somebody said, wow, like, Hawk, you dressed really, really nice today, or somebody paid him a compliment, right? And he said, this is the new software me. right?
Woo!
Which I think that's a compliment, right? Like hey, everybody's pretty excited about the fact that VMware's here, and there is a whole new energy level that comes in, and even he said it, right? He even said like, hey, there's a lot of new vibe going on here, right? So that's kind of good. It's kind of exciting that when you're in here, the vibe is still the vibe, right? And and I was talking to people about that too. I'm like, yeah, I'm not really going to change, right? We're not going to change. William's not going to change. Duncan Epping's not going to change. We're not changing. We're just going to keep going, and people are going to come along for the journey. So excited about that for sure. So I'm glad you noticed that. That's good. I thought you were going to say you had those, and then you came in and you met everybody, and you're like, wait, these people are just, these people are just drunk idiots like everybody else, right? Like, but that's funny. So, we talked about code. We talked about the fact that code had a kind of a slow year last year because Kripa left, sometime last year in April, right? Was her last year. So she's been gone over a year, or right around a year now. And so we didn't have anybody running VMware code. And it might have been a year before that. I might be off by a year, right? And so we had some interns that took it over for some number of months. But I want to say she left in April of last year. And it's almost been a year. We had an intern over the summer that kind of ran code, but we used to do monthly power sessions. We used to do hackathons. We had a hackathon kit. We reached out to VMUG. We did a lot of that stuff, but then it kind of went dark because we didn't. And then we hired Brian Graff, but then it was right in the middle of, COVID being, not COVID, Broadcom buying us and everything. We did run Explore last year, and we had power sessions, which were great and fun, and we had the code labs. But Brian then, I think, had to go on maternity leave because he had a new baby. So he never really got into running the program like we used to run it with Kripa, right? So I'm excited to tell everybody that we have moved Franky from blogs over to code, right? And you will take on the code program. And I felt like you felt energized by it. So what's your thoughts?
Oh man, I'm telling you, yeah, it's I just remember being a customer, and the one story that really kicked off the automation for me was, I was telling you the other day, I had to update from fixed, the storage policies for the LUNs. I had to update them from fixed to round robin, and I got approvals, went through the process, tested the process. Oh my gosh, this is gonna take days. And so I was working in the evening and started doing it. But then I was like, oh my gosh, okay, each ESXi host, how many LUNs do we have? And it just took so long. And so 3 hours in, I was like, this isn't gonna work. Otherwise I'd be working after hours, for months. And so so then I looked up, right? I looked up just how to make it easier, how to automate. And that's when I ran into VMTN. VMTN and Luke D. Luke Deakins?
Yeah, Luke Deakins. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, this dude is a wizard out here. And just the community, right? When everybody's talking and like, oh, okay, a little bit of this, a little bit of that. And then I was able to put together a quick power sale. It wasn't difficult, right? For me, to go from the help desk to engineering, I'm hands-on and no automation skills, to be able to use that. And then something that would have taken me, a month to do, it took the system 5 hours to run through, and it was just, it changed my life forever. So so I keep an eye on these things, and I turned to VMUG, and that's where it grew. But we're super beyond excited. I'm telling you, beyond excited to bring this back. I had a great conversation with Ryan yesterday, and Ryan Johnson, and I didn't even know he worked with William Lamb. And we were both just gleaming. We were so excited, because of all the APIs, the PowerShell, the GitHub, all these things that he was doing. You could just you can feel the passion coming off of this guy. And no, this is great. And
so I know that we used to run PowerShell sessions, right? Like where we would run them, and we'd try to put together a monthly calendar of streaming sessions. Some Kubernetes stuff would sneak in, right? So we do a little bit of Kubernetes, mostly PowerShell. Back then we had Kyle Ruddy. Kyle used to come do a talk now and then. I still think he's out there. He's working at out of the DB company. I forget the name of the company.
HashiCorp.
Yeah, HashiCorp, right? So
Mm-hmm.
spending time there. He'll be around. So what are your kind of main objectives for 2024? What are you going to try to get turned back on?
Yeah, definitely. We're definitely going to start that. The primary focus number one is definitely getting the power sessions back up, right? Get that back up and running. Yes, the bare minimum is one monthly. We're going to try and do three, but yes, we're going to pull people. We're going to get new stars. We're going to make new stars here. That's what we're going to do. Make new stars. We're going to liven up the Slack channel again, and let's see what people are interested in. Right, and then let's start talking. Let's start making lives easier again with automation. We do have we do have our very first one scheduled for next week. Yeah, our very first power session. That one is
congrats. Wow.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, it's titled WS1 with your tidbit. So we're making this fun as our very first one, and then we're gonna hit it strong. So yeah. Already inside.
Nice. So you got putting together the code monthly calendar, right? So that's one thing. I heard that Sample Exchange is going to come over. That's what I heard. So why don't you tell everybody? I don't know how many people know about Sample Exchange. You probably listen to this podcast. You already know what it is. But what's the thought there?
Yeah. So Sample Exchange. What we're going to do? We're definitely how you said. People watching may now, should now. But yes, we're going to see what were the top, the most popular things. And then we're going to try and get those authors, the authors of whoever wrote those things, to come on and show off and demo. And then, let's get new ones created, right? We want to get people not only consuming the automation pieces with anything automation, but also creating their own and resharing that. Right, that is definitely the focus as well.
So I know that Broadcom took a look at it and was like, okay, so are we keeping this or are we throwing it away? What's actually happening? By the time we took them through it all, they were like, okay, they're going to keep it. They're shutting down the IT efforts that were going on at VMware, but they are keeping Sample Exchange, and I think they're rewriting it right now. So they got their own IT group is, reminds me of all development activities. As soon as you take it from one team to another team, do you know what they tell you they want to do?
Rewrite
it. That's right. There's no such thing as adopting somebody else's code and then having an engineer learn somebody else's code. They're like, no, we'll just look at the features. We'll look at all the functionality and then we'll just rewrite it, right? Because we're going to put it on our stack. They run on Drupal, right? So most of their online presence is all based on open source Drupal. So they're like, yeah, we'll just take this thing that was, I want to say it was on a community platform like Influitive or some community platform that all of the developer.vmware.com was set up. And they're like, yeah, we're going to rip it off there, take the code base, rewrite it in Drupal and relaunch it. We'll have it ready to relaunch by, what we call day 2, which is May 1st, right? So all that's going to come along and all the code's there. And then what you're talking about is then let's go look at one of the popular ones. I think the most popular PowerShellers that upload to Sample Exchange are Alan Renouf and William Lamb, right? Like those two. But there are a bunch of other things uploaded there, right? So possibly going through those and doing some PowerShell.
Oh yeah. Just bringing in sessions, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember using Sample Exchange when I first installed ARIA operations, and definitely to get these things plugged in and log insight too, right? Just get these things. So I've definitely leveraged that in the past, and I'm super excited that we're keeping it, right? Just move it to a different platform later, but we're keeping it. That's key.
Now the interesting thing is that Broadcom has consolidated all the BUs into basically one BU, right? Which is VCF, right? So everybody's just moving under one group, right? I don't think they're getting rid of engineers. I don't think they're getting rid of anybody that's writing PowerShell stuff. I think there's a PowerShell team manager, right, that manages all the PowerShell libraries for all the programs. And so I assume that guy's going to be under VCF, right? And then you'll just work with him, because you can work with the engineering team and get API briefs. You can get sample exchange and have them come talk about code samples. And then I feel like we should have a PowerShell hackathon or something that's just some kind of event that gets people, tweaking and, submitting their favorite PowerShell scripts again, right? I know back in the day when I was at Sun Microsystems, we did a call for your favorite scripts, right? Go find all your favorite scripts and upload them so that we can share them with everybody, right? And you'd be surprised how many scripts are out there that nobody actually just takes the time to go share. So maybe there's a sharing campaign that we should run to get people thinking about that, and then tweeting out what are the popular sample exchange, uploads that are out there today, right?
Oh yeah. Oh, I love that idea. Yeah, I'm over here taking my notes too. But yeah, I love the idea of just having people share their scripts, right? Even if it's just in Slack, and then we can amplify that or over X or LinkedIn. Yeah, no, I love that idea. Yeah.
So if you would go grab this stuff and run it in production, did that ever make you worry?
Oh my gosh. Yeah. So our I didn't have a test environment. To be honest with you, I didn't have a test environment. My test environment it was DR. So we had a DR site, and that's where we had a secondary vCenter. Said, okay, let me test these things out here. And if it wasn't apples to apples, it was best effort, right? So yeah, that always made me nervous. Always.
I wonder if security ops or whatever will even let people these days run random power. Do they even know that's happening? Right? Like, I wonder, like, because Broadcom is very, very security conscious, right? Like, they're twice as security conscious as VMware was, right? So everything you do, everything you touch has to go through SecOps, right? To verify that what you're doing is secure, that it's been reviewed, you get it approved. Just wondering, like, I wonder how that's going to work out with sample exchange going forward. What people do there? Maybe you just do code reviews, right? Do we have trusted authors? Like, how do we? I wonder if that's even an issue.
Oh, that's a good idea. Yeah. That definitely something we can come back to. I like that idea. Yeah.
RMD, I don't know. Checksums on what you're downloading, but I don't think we have to create issues if there are none. But it's just wondering if you've ever experienced that. Does anybody come up and go, "What are you guys running?" Like, and where did you get what you're running? I bet not. I bet not.
When we were running, so the not really when running Power CLI, because it's human readable. Yeah, that right there, that's why I loved it, right? It's human readable. But when I would use other things, right? Just whatever other flavors of things. That right there, when I couldn't understand it and I couldn't walk you through everything, as soon as you show a little bit of doubt, it's like, oh, no, you're gonna have to go back. And it's like, oh, okay, yeah, shoot. Yeah. No, yeah. So yeah, we will run into that, but not too often, because I used the safest one. Loved it. Nice.
So we talked about possibly working with VMUG, right? Like, do we think there's a play there? Do you think? I asked you, and you can just tell me what you think. Like, do you think people want to come to a VMUG meeting or a user con and sit around and learn how to write code, right? Versus eating pizza and just watching somebody else's presentation?
Just how you said earlier, right? You believe the audience that watches shows like this, right? This beautiful show, they're familiar with sample exchange. I believe that the audience watching and the audience that goes and attends VMUGs are the people that want to get hands on, right? Like, I never went to a VMUG and voluntarily sat through a marketing show, right? It was always, okay, let me go in here because they're teaching something. And that's what I want to do. I want to learn, I want to network, and I want to be better. And I think a cajillion %, it's not even a number, right? It's so big that absolutely, if we would create a safe space for people to learn, and just how at Explore they have the HOL labs that are led by somebody, and those fill up really, really fast. And if we would bring that, if we would partner up with VMUG and have little things where, yes, we can get in a classroom setting. Everybody bust out your laptop and let's teach you. Let's teach you how to run one simple thing, get some feedback, and just build on that. And yeah, we can help people create scripts and find out what's going on, and again, create more things for the sample exchange.
I know that I was talking to Brad Tompkins, executive director of VMware, and they were like, yeah, we would be excited to do this, and maybe we could give out, I think I still have, some NUCs left around, right? Maybe we could give out X number of NUCs if you came and wrote a good PowerShell script that you could, win yourself a NUC or something, right? So that we could kind of tie some hardware with that, PowerShell coding, kind of event. And we have some code events that were happening throughout the user cons, right? And that would be kind of fun because you could go there, have a potential of, getting a NUC or at least seeing what the NUC specs were, right? I think the NUCs are like $150, but we get them landed from, and maybe we could have somebody could just buy one and expense it, for your company, right? $150, a VMUG. A VMUG organization, we just have to ship a box of NUCs there. So, we give a couple away free. You come to a PowerShell, you learn how to automate, and then, if you didn't win a NUC, you could buy one for $150, and then go home, set up your home lab, be happy, right?
Oh my gosh, I think it would be it could potentially be life changing for some people, right? That may not be there economically, to have access to something like that. It would be amazing.
I know though, because you do your day job all day long, and you're running vSphere and adminning, and this is your day job, and then we're saying, oh, by the way, come on your weekend and play with a NUC and put vSphere on it and do some more day job, right? So I don't know. Sometimes I think that that might just be it's good for your career, right? But it's also sometimes I wonder if we're just going to burn out people.
But you know what? So on the flip side of that, I think that so at least when COVID was going on, so when COVID was at its thickest, I really miss going into the office and like seeing real people, and so if you're luckily people get to work from home now, right? Everybody's remote, and yeah, we're able to join sessions like this, or join virtual sessions and still connect, but there is nothing like being there next to somebody and working on something like say the hackathon, for example. It was the hackathon in Las Vegas last year. I walked around to the other tables and was talking to the other captains, to the other teams, and it was like, hey, it was beautiful just to be able to speak to them and see exactly what they're, and ask them the questions right then and there, right? There is no delay. There is no, okay, let me send them a chat, let me send them an email. I think that is, I think it's great. Yeah, especially too, right? If we pair up with VMUG, and then if you show them that what is possible to do with the NUC, right? That, and depending on how much hardware or you invest in there, you can potentially pair it up, or not potentially, but you could pair it up with the VMUG Advantage and install your vCenter, install a couple of these items, right? Just so that you can practice and see everything that is possible. Yeah, just be playing around with it.
Yeah, we were on chat. We were just talking that the nice thing about the NUCs is that they're only $150, so you don't get yelled at as bad from your spouse, right? Once you boot it up, you don't really need a monitor. You can put it online, and you can SSH into it, right? If you're what OS you're running, right? But so it can just sit and then it doesn't have a fan, right? So you get 32 gig of memory. I think you can go up to 64 gig of memory, so you can put a pretty good payload on it. The multi-core is fast enough that you can do almost anything on it, right? It's a fast little box, right? And then no power, no noise, no bigger electric bill, really. The thing goes to sleep if you want it to go to sleep. So really, it only needs to be on when you need it, and it's so tiny that it just sits on your desk or in a corner somewhere. And so then you just kind of have your own little home lab without getting yourself in too much trouble and too much expense at the same time. So I guess that's pretty good. And then you can break it, and then no problems.
Yeah.
I think that would be fun. So code, we've talked about PowerShell and the streaming sessions, power sessions, we call them. We've talked about sample exchange coming over, right? We've talked about possibly doing stuff with Brad and VMUG that should keep things busy. Slack. Is everybody invited to the Slack channels? And is it still up? We heard about Slack. We don't know. Are there still code coaches around? Where is that part of the program?
Yes, at least for now. Yeah, definitely. Slack is up. I will, since we have the chat going, I'll go ahead and add a link in there.
Or don't you have to join code first to get a Slack invite? I don't think you're supposed to invite people unless they actually join the code program.
Yes, and that was the link that I was going to share. Yeah, join the code program. So they can get in.
And then, we can invite you to Slack.
But yeah, no, we do have code coaches around, right? That we currently we have 32 people in that group. Yes, we have awesome people in here. Once you're a code coach, you're in here for life, right? And it's just you're part of the V community no matter what, right? And so yeah. These people are great. They can be tagged. They're part of other communities as well, right? So, yeah.
I know that William Lamb asked for his Slack channel login again, right? So he wanted to get in and do something with the coaches or do something to answer questions. So I know he's around. I don't know who else is on there. I don't hang out there very much. So.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So, I can go ahead and name them off. We have older blog posts advertising who's a code coach. So we have Vladimir Belikov. Yes, Willie Lamb is definitely in here. Mike, he does a lot of stuff with Workstation, right? Michael Fleischer, Wouter. Yeah, there's a lot of people, right? How you said earlier, Kyle Reddy's in here.
30 people in there. Do any of them ever answer any questions on Slack?
Oh, yeah, definitely. Yeah, I was looking through the other day, and yes, we have the channels, and if I know your specialty, if I know what's your bread and butter, they can definitely be tagged, and maybe they'll definitely circle back and answer. Yeah, or they can be found on other channels as well. But yeah, we can definitely bring them in.
Nice. Yeah. So your work will be cut out for you this year, right? Have you spoken to Kripa yet?
Definitely. Yeah, I spoke to Kripa, I think like day 2 when I first started, and then I reached out to her 2 days ago. She's sick right now. So we have a meeting on the calendar for next week as well.
Nice.
Oh yes,
nice.
Yeah, I know.
So you gotta. She's a lot to live up to because we were flying to Vegas, for one of the Explorers, and she was on a Southwest flight. And she went up to the stewardess, right, and got the stewardess to give her the mic up front of the plane. And she did a little like, "Hey, we're all coming to explore," because there was a lot of VMware people on it.
Yeah,
we're so excited to be here. We're going to be running the code programs and the hackathon, and we're so excited to see everybody go there. And it does a whole little spiel, right? Like to the entire plane.
Oh,
Robin Matlock, the CMO, was on the plane, and she heard that, and she's like, "Oh my God, those are community people. That's the community team, right? They're the ones that get up on the microphone, take over the microphone. They're so excited because they're going to explore that they're going to like talk to the whole team and tell them what they're doing, right? Or the whole plane. So you got a lot to live up to, right? It's a great
and her, right? Yeah, I remember meeting Kripa for the first time at these hackathons over at Explore, and like I was afraid to join them, but yeah, no, she was there, and she was like the face. I'm like, oh hey, I don't really know anybody here, but I've seen her. I know who she is, and of course, right? Yeah, super nice people, and not just her, the entire community team, right? Yes, just super nice people all the way around. Love it.
I think this is a little bit. Up leveling though, and that code is less about being super chatty, super nice. Kripa was that, but it is really about like digging down, finding really cool scripts that'll help people, itemizing the scripts, ranking the scripts so that people know when they come in, all right, this is a really good one. This solves this, or this one is suddenly a 2-star because it's, we can manually rank them, right? Like you could just go into the script and actually put a ranking on the script. So it is actually so that, everybody can actually share high quality automation. You can read it. Then people that want to modify it can modify it and put it up into Sample Exchange, letting people know what samples are out there that people are actively working on, so that if there's a new version coming out, somebody's working on it. I know that William updates his scripts, right?
Mm-hmm.
Goes into Sample Exchange and uploads it, and those link off to GitHub. So we call it Sample Exchange, but 80% of the stuff that people register on Sample Exchange isn't actually stored on Sample Exchange. It's stored on GitHub. It's just that Sample Exchange is a great sorting tool that allows you to find things, right? You don't have to know about somebody's GitHub account to go find where they're working on a piece of automation tech, right? And that's nice because GitHub then is a project. You can go join that project and you can go help them work on it. If you write a little library routine or, to do something for it, you could actually share it back to William, and he'll take it and put it in his GitHub repository and make a new version. So kind of cool that way, in that we can showcase that, get people excited about it, and use it. So a lot of opportunity there that I think goes, we haven't actually spent a lot of time working on it. Then the only other thing that Code has done in the past is try to bridge the connection between DevOps and the engineer. So we have always tried to do some kind of coding labs or some kind of fun activity that you're hacking on Raspberry Pis or anything like that. And I don't want that to overshadow, because I think our mistakes in the past have been we tend to overshadow, and we don't spend any time on PowerShell, and we spend all our time on Raspberry Pis, right? Because that's the fun stuff to do. So I would advise you not to do over that. But I know that you've been also thinking about some of the kind of cool things that are a little bit hacky, right? So I know that you mentioned it earlier, but why don't you talk a little bit more about the fun activity you're thinking about?
Oh yeah. So the beautiful thing, right? The beautiful thing about the community is that it's not just external, right? It's not just all external, and it's all smoke and mirrors back here. But within VMware, within VMware by Broadcom, there are a ton of people that home lab, right? And talk about home lab, and there's constant activity. So I advertised, right, that we were a call for papers for VMware Code, and yes, right, our very first speaker emailed me within 5 minutes, and he's like, hey, I have an idea. I've been working on this, and he's talking about Tidbit and pairing that up with Workspace ONE. And so a Tidbit, for those that don't know, I didn't know what it was. I had never heard of it, but it's this little device that just has like an LED panel. And so it's a little fun thing. And if you connect it via API, then you can call and get it to display things from your environments, right? So he will walk us through how to actually do all that stuff. He sent me a video the other day of him doing it and giving me an overview. And I said, hey, that this is great, but maybe not everybody understands, just like, by reading instructions. So we're definitely going to do it. We're going to do it live. And I'm super, super excited. But that is something that my mind then took and said, okay, if you can do it by just calling APIs, everything has this fun little API, right? And then why can't we do more with this? And I don't have a little tidbit, but that right there seemed very fun. And again, how you said it with the nukes, right? They're not that expensive, but I'm looking forward to a session, and then I'll go ahead and put a link in here. Looking forward to
I was going to say, I just Googled it, and if you've never heard of Tidbit, TIDBYT. So Tidbit, like byte, BYTE, but bit, BYT. So tidbit.com, TIDBYT. And it looks like it's just an LED matrix display that then they've got little apps for. And, it's a cool little display that can sit on your desk and display stuff, right? And then they probably have a programming API for it that allows you to build little apps for it. So super cool. So you're saying that somebody, you mentioned his name, from EUC built a EUC app for Tidbit.
That's exactly it. Yeah, it's exactly it. He put everything on GitHub, and yeah, no, he put everything on GitHub and for everybody to consume it. And yeah, let's see what you can do with it, right? It's and yes, if you have one of these, if you get one of these, and if you, yeah, if you definitely show us what you can do with it. Tag us on on LinkedIn, tag us on X or whatever social media, and yeah, you know where to find us, and we'll definitely reshare your stuff. Love it.
I'm looking at it right now. They got a Tidbit and then a Tidbit Gen 2, which looks really even sparklier, like a little higher res. Looks like full color, RGB color, LED matrix thing, $179, right? So looks like a fun little project if you wanted to have something fun to do at home. That's kind of cool. And they say hundreds and hundreds of apps have been written for it. So
yes,
something fun to do, right, for your home lab. I gotta assume that runs on Windows, right? Like that you can run that. So yeah, that looks kind of interesting. Fun.
Yeah, so it's just something. And
Yeah.
yes, we do have the link that's in the chat. That is for the link for the list of power sessions that we're going to have. So yeah, we'll make sure to go in there and update it every once in a while. As soon as we get all these booked and set in stone.
So I think that code blog, I was going to say, we have a code blog, and you're now blogging on the code blog, right? And you posted the list of power sessions for 2024 out on that blog. And if I remember right, that blog should roll up to code.vmware.com if it's still alive. Let's see if it still does that. Okay, there is the blog. It does pull blog articles, but I don't know how often it pulls blog articles. And I don't see anything before.
What side are you going to?
That's happened already. Die.
Which what are you looking for?
It's going and going and going. I'm trying to mute him.
Oh,
there you go. He answered. Hello, Steve. Tell me a joke. There you go. My AI talking to me while I'm on a podcast. Fun stuff. I named him Steve.
Oh. Yeah, I had no clue what you were talking about. What?
There you go. Yeah. It's my AI. I got an AI running in the background.
Super cool.
Yeah. There you go. So okay. That's Tidbit. That'll be fun. We got the blog out there. Doesn't look like it's updating on the code website quite yet, but I'm sure that's probably all dying by now because we're going to move that over by May. So that's not a big deal. But anyway, you are blogging. What is the blog? Where are you blogging? What's the blog URL? I know you put it in chat, but why don't you just say it out loud again?
Yeah, blogs.vmware.com/code.
There you go.
Nice and easy.
Yep. /code. Got a blog up there. Follow that. Good place. Where do you communicate with users?
Definitely sign up, right? Yeah. I'm sorry. Yeah.
There's email. Yeah. But
definitely email me if you want. Reach out to over on X at VMware Code. And
all right, so that's it.
That's
Twitter at VMware Code, I guess, or X. I'm never going to get used to that. At VMware Code, give them a follow. That's where you're tweeting. You're tweeting out once or twice a week, I'm sure, talking to people, right? Engaging with the code program, promoting the sessions, next session next week.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and if you want to sign up, right? Yeah, definitely, please reach out if you want to sign up and give a session if you want to. Yeah.
So code.vmware.com. If you haven't signed up, go sign up. Tweet at VMware Code, and that'll get you to Franky, and then you can engage. We're looking for sessions, right? We're looking for interesting sessions. Keep the community going. So
exactly.
Forward to that.
Yeah.
I ask everybody as we come into the last 10 minutes of the podcast here, what excites you about 2024? And it doesn't necessarily have to be code. It could be something else, like in tech, AI, ML, self-driving cars, whatever it is. Like what it gets you excited about. I mean, obviously you're taking over code, so we've talked about the whole show of what's happening with code. What else is happening in the geeky nerd world that maybe gets you excited besides Tidbit?
What I'm excited about, yes, because we are working with Broadcom, right? We're part of Broadcom. I'm excited to get into that, right? I'm excited to see what they have and learn from each other, right? There is a community back there as well, and yes, we're there is no they and us, right? We're all we, right? It's more, yeah. That's what I'm excited. I love
I guess
learning and connecting with
the
people.
learning about Broadcom, learning about the chips, learning about who else they have. They have CA and all the CA mainframe software. They got groups doing mainframe software. They got Symantec, right? Security. Have you done speaking of that, have you done some of the training that Broadcom requires us to do?
I did. Yes, I did a training a couple weeks ago.
All right, so then good. Do you know that training platform that they offer is a Broadcom product? So
No, I did not know that.
Platform that they teach you, give you training, whatever, that's all Broadcom. That's done by Symantec. So that's a Symantec e-learning platform. So interestingly, we could put together, because that product is available to us, I'm sure, for free, right? We could get that platform and we could put together code training sessions, right? Because it probably is free. We don't have to, we can get that whole learning platform and do little slide decks. And you see people, some of this training we've had is literally just somebody's slide deck that you go next, 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 and then you're done with the training, right? Like, so there's some very simple training, but then they have a lot of features, like some of the more complicated training. I did a 5-hour training session with them to be a manager. And, they're complicated and it's really nice, and drag and drop elements and video play elements and, obviously testing and, learning, blah, blah, blah. So a lot of cool things, but that's what I thought, that platform is now part of us, right? There is no, or part of we, right? Or whatever you want to call it, right? Like, yeah. And that made me think, oh yeah, there's, there are some interesting little things we could do with that platform. So that's cool. Yeah, learning about what Broadcom what Broadcom brings to us versus what we've been bringing to them at the same time. So,
oh yeah, and another huge thing, yes, right, as it pertains to code, it is right. Yeah, I'm beyond excited to be working with this program and the people here. But what excites me a lot about it is that, right, I believe Broadcom's vision has to very much do with, okay, here's a product, and then getting rid of shelfware, right? So that the customer doesn't have things that they don't use, right? And so if we, what this program does is definitely helps teach people how to use the products that they have and how to use them better, right? More efficiently with this automation. And I love that. This is a great spot to be in. I think it bodes well for the program, and yeah, we're alive. We're definitely alive, and yeah, I'm excited for the entire year.
Yeah, me too. You know what I'm excited about? I'm excited about Broadcom stock. Holy smokes, that thing just keeps going. VMware stock has been kind of like the sideways kind of stock, right? Like it never went up and never went down. It's just kind of, when we got the offer from Broadcom, it went, but like. Broadcom stock, these guys know how to run a company. I gotta say, they know how to run a company, because that stock. Yeah, I don't think I'm supposed to talk about stock on this show, right? Like, so I won't talk about stock anymore. Sorry, that's my bad. I'm realizing. I think that we have a don't talk about stock except during earnings seasons. We're allowed to talk about it one day, right? So, but I am excited about the fact that Broadcom has stock be damned. Like, I'm excited about the fact that they know how to run a company. They got a lot of momentum on a lot of things. They have not said no to any one of my requests, right? From supporting code to supporting VMUG to supporting the community to running Explorer. I'll throw it back out. Like, I feel like Hawk has this nice software suit on and he's excited about it, right? So people can change, things can change. I'm excited about the change that VMware has. Yeah, we'll go from there. I know that they're bringing CTAB on in Palo Alto in March. So a lot of CTAB members are going to be showing up to Palo Alto. So excited about that. We got Vegas coming up. We're going to start doing some code stuff, pre-code stuff. The hackathon, we're going to have to get the hackathon going, right? Make it better than it was. We will never do an in the basement hackathon again.
Never again.
Never again.
Nope.
Again. We're gonna. I don't care if I have to charge an entrance fee. We're not going to be in the basement of an event center ever again. I felt like we were in the parking garage.
Oh, it was so far. Yeah. Right. Yeah. Because
By the way, the Europe one was fantastic. Right. So.
See, I missed the European one. Yes.
It was great. We had a cool space. Vaulted ceiling. Great food. Chicken paella, huge amounts of chicken paella, lots of drinks, yummy cookies, good stuff, and it was a cool space, right?
Yeah.
In Vegas, we had a table in the parking garage on the lower level, right?
When I went down there, right? Yeah, and this why I love working with you, Eric. You keep it real, right? I love these conversations that we have, man. This is fun. Yes, when it was time to head down there for at Explorer Vegas, right down to the hackathon, because I'm a person that says yes and right. I don't even if it's something that's super incredibly hard, it's a challenge, and I love challenges. So yeah, for this last one, I signed up to be a team captain, and so I headed down there after my quote unquote shift was over in the community space. I headed down there and security stopped me. And I was like, no, I'm sorry. I need to get in there. There's a hackathon going. And yeah, so that was a 5-minute conversation. And I was like, I am not leaving. We need to fix this, right? And so, yes, right. Lessons learned all around for things. Yeah, we finally got in there. We finally got assigned. But how you said, yeah, I never again. Yeah, my apologies. Our apologies to everybody else. This year, I promise we'll be better.
Yeah, we'll do better. It was I take responsibility of it was my own fault. I didn't realize they were putting us down there, and I had heard it, and we were so desperate just to have something because everything was Broadcom acquisition. There was a lot of moving issues that were going on, and everybody was frightened and didn't know if they had jobs, and everything was upside down. We were flying in upside down land for a while. But when I went down there to see it, and I guess everybody had taken a break to go back up to the Solutions Exchange was having their open party. So the hackathon took a break. And I had got done with my stuff. I was working on, I had stuff to do. And so I said, I'm going to go down to the hackathon now. And it was like 6:00. And I find my way down to the parking garage or wherever it was. It was on the lower level in the cafeteria or something weird. Big, giant place way over in the corner. I couldn't find it. Like you, I walked around lost for like 10 minutes down in this massive hall parking lot thing. And eventually I found this roped off area that was then the hackathon. And it was empty. There were like 3 people milling around. And I just stopped in my tracks and I just walked backwards. I can't do this. I can't go in there. It's too embarrassing. I don't want to. I was so embarrassed by it that I just turned around and walked away. I went, there's nobody there. I guess nobody came. Right. And it wasn't until later that I found out that no, everybody was upstairs. And there were teams and there was 100 people in there. But at first I thought, oh my God, nobody came. Nobody could find it. It was like you say, security blocked people from going, there's somebody's in Vegas prison somewhere because they were somewhere they weren't supposed to be. It was just like, I think I'm going to go crawl in a hole and hide.
So, oh no! When you say that, it reminds me of the GIF of Homer Simpson when he's slowly backing up into the bush.
That's what I felt like. I backed into the bush, right? not me. Yep, exactly. I didn't do this. This was not. Oh my gosh, so embarrassed. Yeah. But anyway, it's fun. It was good. It was a good event, and looking forward to all the stuff you're going to do, Franky. I couldn't have a better person in charge of doing this stuff because you're the perfect blend of a fun evangelist, right? You have a great personality, so it's great to have you on the show. But you're also fairly technical, and you've been a customer. You've run a data center. You understand why we do this stuff. So go forth and prosper. I'm excited to have you running that. I'm sad that Brian Graff is gone. I'm sad that Kripa's gone, but I'm glad that you're here, and I think we're going to have fun together. So looking forward to it. Last 5 minutes of the show. Tony Foster, I know you've been hanging out. I don't know if you're still on TalkShoe or not, but yeah, I think you're there. I got some barbecue. I'm doing a barbecue this weekend. And we're putting on ribs and tri-tip. We're going to do tri-tip on the charcoal. We're going to smoke the ribs, and we're having like 14 people over, and we're just gonna have a fun midwinter barbecue. So I'm excited about that. Tony, I'm not sure if you're anything, and yeah.
I have not done anything recently. It's been so cold and wet that I don't even know if I could get my charcoal to light.
This is true. You go through that couple months where, you go and look at your charcoal and it's got moss growing on it, right? Or it's molding, right? And you're like, oh, I got my charcoal wet. That was the end. And things don't dry out in California till April 1st, right? So, yeah. But I'm going to do one. I'm do some barbecue. Franky, you got a better barbecue answer than the last time you were on the show? Like, what do you like to barbecue?
You know what? So the last time I was on the show, I told my wife too. I was like, you know what? I was on the show with my boss and the team and Tony, and yeah, and I was like, I talked about the barbecue, and she's like, no, you didn't. She's like, you don't use it. And I was like, oh gosh, I shouldn't have said anything because I got cooked. Yeah, so no, I have not touched it. It's been icy here. Yeah, icy enough where last week school was closed for a couple of days, and no, it was just too cold. Yeah,
too cold to do barbecue. Like
too cold.
We're gonna have to for the 3 months of the winter. We're gonna have to have chainsaw ice carving. And we can talk about. Did you do an ice sculpture? What are you gonna do? I'm gonna do a swan. I'm gonna make a bear on a log. Something like that. Something appropriate to wintertime for sure. All right, well, we're running up to the top of the hour. Go give Code a follow on Twitter or X at VMware Code, all one word, VMWRECODE. Go give them a follow, say hello, watch for the session next week. I'm definitely going to catch the tidbit session. That looks like right up my alley. That looks like fun. I might just go buy one because I haven't had a cool device at home in at least 6 months. So that looks like a cool little device to have. Go catch this session, power session, or the session next week on Tidbit, and look and check out his blog article on what sessions are coming up. If you haven't joined Code, go get Code a call, and watch for Code at VMUG this year. That'll be exciting. Tony Foster, thanks a lot for being here. Franky, thanks for being here. We will come back next week with a external guest. Last week we had Michael Roy talk about fusion. Next week we're going to have a book author on. I think we found a book author we're going to bring on and talk about his new book that's out. So until then, everybody go, stay warm, stay dry, do an ice sculpture, and hey, get yourself some barbecue at the same time. Thanks a lot.
Recording paused.